Hi everyone, so glad you're joining me today. I have some really special Stampin' Up! Things to show you and a few things to tell you right quick. And so let's get started here. First thing I want to tell you was that I know most of you know that we flooded, Baton Rouge flooded again. And it's been a couple weeks now, but Saturday we had something exciting happen. Ziggy was barking her head off at the front of the house, tears around, comes to the back door, and I look out just in time to see my neighbor. And I opened the door and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She said, "Have you seen a deer?" "A deer? No." And she said, "Well, one was over at my house and tried to jump over the fence, didn't do that, tried to jump over my car, didn't do that, ran across the yard and up your driveway." And she said, "I wanted to make sure that he hadn't jumped in or she hadn't jumped in your backyard." Well, we've got a 6-foot fence on the side and right behind us. But on the other side, where the other neighbor lives, there's a short one. So I think it escaped over that fence and then over the one behind that one. So we didn't see the deer, but I did see a turtle making its way across the street the next day. So not only have folks been displaced out of their homes, so has the nature around us. So we need to take care of them also. Be wary that they're out there. And last night, I'm an officer for the FIMU alums, and we had a meeting last night, and we had our Founders Day online a couple of months ago, and they recognize the increments of time that you've been in the sorority. And I hate for y'all to know how old I am, but I got my 50-year pin. And actually, this isn't the real one. It'll be coming when we have our face-to-face time together. And I can't get the little box open. But anyway, it's 50 years, which is backwards. But I'll fix that when we get started. Now, on to stamping. I have a gorgeous stamp set to show you today. So let's go down and see what's doing. Now, I have 2 samples for you to see here. And the stamp set that I'm going to be using is called Pansy Patch. It has some beautiful sentiments, a thank you, a happy birthday, a little hello from me to you, and then a couple of larger ones. And I used Friendship Refreshes the Soul from a different stamp set, but the 2 that are here, The Little Things You Do Make Such a Big Difference, Love You Much, and then Wishing You a Little Extra Happiness Just Because You're You. The dies that go with it are right here, and it's called Pansy. And when I first looked at this stamp set and the dies, and of course I was seeing samples everywhere from people that had already gotten it and were already making samples and showing them online. But to me, it's a little intimidating and a little bit, out there, and I kind of was like, do I really want to get that? It might be kind of hard to do. Well, Stampin' Up! Put out something that made this stamp set just flow and work beautifully. I have a little template here that I'm showing you that shows which stamps go together and what it looks like. I'm going to raise that up just a little bit So there's a large pansy, and then you see a smaller one. The leaves can be layered if you cut them out, or you can cut them out, stamp them and cut them out. There's even a little bud over here. We're going to be using some of this. But it shows you right here what you're going to use. Let me get this out of the way so that you can see this. When we're going to make the big pansies, like here, you're going to have the large multi-petaled piece. Then you're going to have a second piece that will layer on top. Then, I don't know what to call this, except it kind of looks like a little beard on bearded iris that are common around this neck of the woods. They have a little ruffle thing on their petals, and so I'm going to call that a little beard. And then there is even a little bitty center of the flower. So you can see, there's that little piece I'm calling the beard, and then the little center of the flower. Now the leaves, they also have, I'm gonna put this back so I don't lose them. The leaves also have a two-step. There's the small leaf, as you can tell I've used that. And this one will be cut out. I used a different color so that you have the dark and the light, or the light and the dark. So it kind of gives it more depth. And here's one that I actually didn't use. Then there's a large leaf and the detailed veins and little lines in the leaf on that. So let's see. Last but not least was that cute little bud. And there are 3 pieces to it. And this paper shows you. And I can send this to you if you are interested in having it. It really is a good guide to go by. So you have the little stem that looks like that. Then you have 2 little pieces, and in this example they're done in Highland Heather and in white. So this would go next, and it would layer up like so. Well, I've got it upside down, but anyway, you get the idea. So that's how the dies work. Now, if you wanted, you know, there are a gazillion things you could do with this stamp set. And I made some notes so I wouldn't leave anything out. On this sample, I cut out, using the dies, on colored cardstock. On this sample, so that's one of the ways you can do it. On this one, which is what we're going to do today, I used the blends. So I cut it out of white, and we're going to be coloring it in with the blends. You can also stamp them in different colors, and I was just kind of playing around. And then we have a die that cuts out the whole flower. So that's the third way. And the last way is that the DSP, which I want to show you, is absolutely gorgeous. And as you can see, I've been making samples, so I've got some chopped up. But there's gingham on the back of a couple of them. There's gingham there. This is an example of one of the ones that I cut out some little ones. So you can see that the little and the large and the small pansies can be cut right out of the cardstock. What could be easier than that? And let's take a look at the rest of this. Gingham again. And here are the larger, the piece that shows where you can cut all these out. And what I do is just trim around what I'm going to use and then run that through the cut and emboss machine. And that way you're not, you know, cutting it and wasting. And I use my scissors just to go around and get what I wanted. Okay, that is Calypso Coral. I'm going to tell you the colors they used in just a second. And on this side, you have the lavender. And let's see, the colors, remember that in the catalog, where you see the little snippet of what the pages look like, they'll also list what the colors are that are used in this. And it really helps you when you're looking for, you know, your card base and the colors that can be used along with this. So we're using Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, which is the yellow, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, one of our new in colors, Fresh Francia, another in color, Pale Papaya, another one, Polished Pink, and I guess it's got all of, it has all of the new in colors, Soft Succulent and Soft Sea Foam. So you've got a lot of colors that you can use. And for my samples, I use the Soft Succulent. I think I told you last week that's quickly becoming my favorite color. So that's what I use. But in this paper, just to die for. Let's see, there are the leaves. I just love that. And see, this has the sea foam, the Soft Succulent, and the Evening Evergreen. And I've made a cute card with this that I'll show you at some point. And there's stripes. We use that on another card. And remember, there are 2 of each pieces. So you've got 2 designs, and they're front and back. And they're just beautiful. Now, let's take a look at what we're going to be using to make our card. Oh, I didn't show you the stamps. Let me stamp a couple of these so that you'll be able to see what's what. This is just using the large flower. And I'm going to start off with the lighter of the 2 purples, which is the Highland Heather. And it has, you know, degrees. It's not going to come out solid. It has some depth and an interest to it, which I like. And then it's a 2-step. Actually, you can count more than that, but they're very easy to line up. So if you will look, you can get right there where that little, where the different petals are, and turn it just, let's see how I did. I did good, yay! Then you have that little bearded piece, and I'm going to stamp it in the, this is the Blackberry Bliss. I'm not sure how this is going to look, but we'll see. So there are 2 little bearded things, actually with 3, I think. Okay, so that can go in there. And if you want to do the next one, you can do it and then add the little centerpiece. But I think that gives you an idea, I hope it does, of how this all goes together and what an awesome set this is. And if you buy the whole suite, it is on page 28 of your catalog. And the whole Pansy Petals suite comes with the stamp set, the dies, so that's bundled together, the designer paper, which I've shown you, and then there are these cute little, they're called bumblebee trinkets, and they're little tiny little gold, and I haven't gotten those yet, so I can't show them to you. But I'm sure they just really perk up the card and look cute. Okay, let me get all this out of the way. And here is my host code. This is the last of May. Two things are happening. The catalog, the January-June catalog ends on, I believe it is May 1st. I may have that wrong. It may be the next day, and I can't see it without my glasses. So, but it's ending, and also the special to join Stampin' Up. It is always $99 to join. You get to pick what you want. I can help you and advise you on what you should get to get started. And just this month, so it ends on the 30th, the instead of getting $125 worth of merchandise for $99, you get $155. So this is a great time. Don't let the word demonstrator scare you off. You can be a hobbyist. You can join just like almost all of us did, just for the 20 to 25% discount that you get. So if you have questions, you can email me at tubobet@gmail, and or go to my website, stampin'atthebirdnest.com. Now, to show you what we're going to be doing, I have my cardstock that's a half sheet of 8.5 by 11, so it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have my DSP, and I used one side for one card and one side for the other, but we're going to use this one today with the leaves. So it's cut at 4 by 5 1/4, just to give you 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Then you're also going to need a piece of that's 3 by 4 of the soft succulent for our little greeting that we're going to have. And let me get a piece of dark paper, because this isn't going to work, to show you what you're going to cut out for this particular card. Okay, so let's take a look. And remember, this is all going to be in white. So for each one of the pansies, you're going to need one of the pieces like that, and then you need to cut 2 of the other petals. So that's one flower. Then you've got another flower with the 2 petals. Then we had the little bud that has the 2 pieces. And then for each little flower, you have this little beard, and you're going to need the little centerpiece, which is pale papaya. Now, I went ahead and pre-cut this since instead of doing it all. I'm going to show you on the sentiment. We'll be using a different die set for that. So I'll show you that in just a few minutes. So let's get to coloring. So we're going to have, and I cut out an extra one just in case. I don't know how, but sometimes pieces disappear. Let me show you. I'm using the pale papaya because the bumblebee, the darker flower, color flower, they don't make a blend in the bumblebee. This was daffodil and curry that I used here. So we're going to try it with the dark papaya. And what, I'm going to put my light over here so I can see a little bit better. What I did was I took the big end and I went all around the edge. So that that little ruffled edge would kind of stand out. You could do this with a sponge dauber also, but since I've got my blends, I'm gonna use that. So each one of these, this kind of looks like a little shell, but just kind of do it around each one. Here's this. Now, I'm going to take the dark and I'm going to use the small end. If I can get it off. Hello, there it goes. And I'm just going to make a little edge around, and I'm kind of doing it in little circles. And I'm going to do that on all the way around the petals. So you see this takes just a little bit of time. That's the reason I went ahead and pre-cut. Okay, and on this one. And then I'm going to take, be careful when you're putting these on so that you don't squish the ends. That can happen sometimes if you're not careful. Again, I'm using the smaller end, and this is the Pale Papaya Light. And I'm just going to go around and try to blend that and pull the color out just a little bit. When I was, you know me, I always like to Google everything. So I was checking out the color of pansies, and honestly, there are all colors. Now I'm going to try to soften that little line that I made and just try to blend that together a little bit. But anyway, there are even red ones. There's even a black one that they said is really dark, dark purple. And I'm always seeing, and what catches my eye are the purple and gold ones. Of course, you know, we're big Tiger fans down here, LSU Tigers. And if you want to, you can even kind of go put a little definition with the lines that are in there. I don't know if you can see the lines. It doesn't show on this side. But like right there, you can see that it has little grooves. So if you want to, you can just kind of hit those. So I'm going to quickly do this one and show you how to put it together. That's the fun part. Okay, you can always go back and add a little bit more if you need to. Okay, so this would be, I guess, the flower base, because these flowers are going to be connected like so. So I'm going to use glue dots for this. So I'm going to take the pointed part and put it against the glue dot. And I don't know if you can see that, but it comes right off. I'm going to do that on both of them. And then I'm kind of going by the center here, but they kind of overlap. Okay, it's coming together well. Now for the little bearded part, and I went ahead and did both of them the same with this. I'm using the Blackberry Bliss, and you're going to use your liquid glue. It's easier than trying to do it with the Stampin' Seals Plus. And then you can either use a glue dot, or you can just put some glue on that little bitty center. And it goes right there. Now, if you want to turn up your petals a little bit before you put them down, you can. So that kind of makes it raise up off the, oops, my center came off on my finger. Okay, so let's look at the next one. We're going to be using the Fresh Francia, and oh, here's my, I'm going to do the same thing with this, where I'm going to go all around. You can either do it like this or like I was doing. And this is going to be really pretty. And remember, there are 2 petals. And we're going to try something on this one. I'm going to use the bigger end, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so I'm just going to take it and just make little circles. Definitely has a bigger path. Isn't that a pretty color, though? I just love it. All of the end colors this year are just phenomenal. And of course, if you wanted to do an even darker, a different color on, you know, the edge like I did, that would, and I'm gonna just put a few little things there. And I have a doctor's appointment, and I thought my reminders were off. Don't ever seem to be off. Okay. Again, I'm taking my glue dots. Not always, but most of the time, it's easier to do paper to the glue dot rather than pulling them off and sticking them on. And I'm not liking it. Let's see, where's the light one? I end up coloring this whole thing. I didn't like the way the lines were coming out. Which you certainly can do. Okay. Got one on there. Here's the other one. Put my little beard on. And it goes, it fits right there. The reason I like this liquid glue is that if you got it in the wrong spot, you can kind of maneuver it around. I'm going to use a glue dot this time on the little centerpiece. What else is ringing? Is that my phone? Yes. Okay. Now we got it all. And there's that. Okay, so that is done. Let's get back to our card. I'm going to, this is a brand new roll. Okay. And I'm going to put this. Now, on this card, I didn't put any leaves because the leaves were in the paper. So, you need to decide where that's gonna go. And then I do need to color our little stem and things here. Now, I'm just gonna color it in because I want it all to be the same color. And since it's small, it's kind of hard to do two shades, a light and dark. And we'll make this one, let's see. I'm gonna color this one. And this would be like the outside of the petals, so I think most of it would be colored instead of leaving it white. But then there's this part that I am gonna leave white. And again, I'm gonna use glue dots. There's one here. And that will go on the stem. You can see how it kind of fits together. And then another glue dot here for the white. So that's how that's gonna look. Now, I'm gonna put these together in just a second. What I wanna do is talk to you a minute about the Ornate Frames. We are using these dies, and if you're needing something for all different size sentiments, this is a great one. It comes with 11 different frames. So you've got all of these. Some are plain, some are fancy. And then on the back, you have all of these. These are both, they're both called Ornate Frames. They're more than 11, I think. 6, 7, 8. Anyway, I made a mistake there. They're more than 11. But anyway, I used this frame for this one, and you can see how pretty it comes out. Well, we're going to do a different one, and I've already selected it. It's on my little magnetic sheet over here. This is the one we're going to use because I wanted to use the stamped saying that says, wishing you a little extra happiness just because you're you. And I would use this could be for for anything, just a because card, or it could be used for, to add it to a birthday card. So I am going to use And actually, the dimensions on this were for the big ones. You probably need about a 2.5 by 2.5 inch piece of paper for this. That would be about right. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna make sure it's inked up well. Put it right there. Now, that's stamped really well. Now, let me bring my Big Shot out. I'm still calling it the Big Shot. My cut and emboss machine. When you are using things, especially things that are very intricate like this is, it depends on your machine. Mine, sometimes it'll cut all of this out, and sometimes you can see that it hasn't cut all the way through. So what you may need is a shim. A shim can be a piece of computer paper. That thin can make a difference. I keep a pack of contraband Walmart white cardstock, but I mark it so that I don't get it mixed up. But a shim could be, this is thicker than it's cardstock instead of just regular computer paper. My Big Shot came with this, and I can't remember, I don't think the Stamp and Emboss, Cut and Emboss did, but this is a little piece of plastic. Each one is a little bit different, and what you're gonna have to do is just play around with your machine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this down, and we'll see how it does without a shim. And I am going to put a piece of tape there. In fact, I'm going to do it over here where I can see. My husband doesn't understand why. He says, you have every light on in the house. I said, that's because I'm used to it. It's the way my mother was. That's the way I am. Okay. Now, here is the other plate. Let's see how it does with just by itself and no shim under it. Turn it over and take a look. I can see that there's some places right here that did not cut. Now, if by some chance your plate falls off, just place it back over the cut image and kind of move it around until it fills in those cut places. I'm going to try just the computer paper, and let's see how that does. And you're going to put it on plate 2, then you put plate 3, and then cover it. Okay, Houston, we got a problem. There it goes. Every now and then the screw comes out of my handle. We'll see if we can get it through. Okay, now let's take a look. Now, it may be that it needs 2 pieces of computer paper. So like I said, you just need to play around with it and see. But now you can see it looks like that is going to be fine and that it cut through. So I did need just a little piece of the paper there. And then you can take your little, let's put this baby together. Ooh, we're running late here, I'm sorry. We've got a little piece of the intricate away. Okay, trim, and where did my card go? Oh, that's special. I've got so much up here. Here it is. I laid it over here. Well, that's nice to lose my card during the live, huh? All right. I want to make sure I'm opening it correctly. I'm going to take the twine. This is the twine that's on with the ribbon and everything. It's called Simply Elegant. It's very thin. It comes in silver and in gold. I cut about 24 inches. And what I'm going to do is just put I'm going to put my flowers up here. So I'm just putting down some glue and putting that there. Then I should have gotten that's not one to cooperate. Let me get my dimensionals on here right quick. I'm going to use about 3 on each flower. And that'll hold it down. All right. So you want to be able to see this. That was another piece. So I put that down, and I'm just going to put my pansy on top, which will also help to anchor it. I got that glue on my fingers, and now my fingers are sticky. And I want to kind of have that end up under there. And then we need to put our little flower. I think I'll put it over here on the side. Let's see. Well, maybe up there. That would be cute. Okay, and I'm going to use another glue dot on it and just let that little stem go underneath. Maybe. And then you can put your sentiment where you want it. Okay, well, this wraps up this edition of Lunch with Laura. So glad that you joined me. Here's our finished product, and I hope that you'll try the pansy set. And like I said, the suite, you don't have to get everything in the suite. Like I got the stamp set and the die and the paper. So that wraps things up. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back and see me if you have an order that you are interested in placing. Please use the host code for May. And any questions, you can find me at tubobet@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, stampingatthebirdnest.com, and I can help you there. Please be sure to like my pages and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.